morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are joining us from. Welcome to Simplilearn. We're honored to have you join us today for Data-Driven Digital Marketing with your host, Nick Bathla. My name is Richard, and after this intro, I'll be mostly in the background helping Nick so that everything goes smoothly, and then I'll come back in for the last 15 minutes to help with the question and answers. Data-Driven Digital Marketing and the DMC, Digital Marketing Certification, in 2015, more data was collected than all the previous years put together. Knowing how to use all this data now available for businesses or companies in most industries is a necessity to keep up with the competition and the marketing out there. If you do not know Nick, Nick is a digital marketing, all things online marketing expert with 18+ years experience. Regional trainer at Google, lead trainer at Simplilearn, Marketing Motive, Digital Vidya, and GoDaddy. As an entrepreneur himself, Nick helps businesses of all sizes to grow and reach their targeted clients. He comes to us with a bachelor's from, master's in business. Boy, I was going to downgrade him there. A master's in business administration from Humbler Business School. He also is University of Toronto digital marketing, and he's certified in just about everything digital marketing. I can't go through the whole list because that would be the whole hour. If you're not familiar with this form of webinar, I want to introduce you to your dashboard. If everyone could locate your dashboard and control panel, might have to click on the red arrow to expand it. Go ahead and find the question module. And if you can just open the question module and say hi to Nick, lets us know you're excited to be here, and this also lets us know you're hearing us okay and that our sound system is working. So just go ahead and type in hello there. This question module is your best friend. This is a great place to ask any questions for your own personal journey. Hello, Joseph, and great to have you here. Your own personal journey, and also if you have a company question or a certification question, this is a great place to go ahead and ask those questions. In the last 15 minutes, at that point, we'll go ahead and try to address as many of these questions as we can. And great to have you, Kimberly, Connor, Yogesh. We've got a nice crowd in here today. You didn't come here to listen to me. I am proud to introduce Nick, who will be your host for Data-Driven Digital Marketing. Go ahead and sit back, relax, have a cup of coffee or tea, or maybe it's evening where you're at, and maybe a glass of wine, and enjoy. It's an honor for me to hand this over to Nick. Thank you, and happy learning. Hello, Nick, and welcome to Simplilearn's webinar today. Oops, Nick, are you there? Oh, there we go. Sometimes those microphone buttons, you have to click on them, or they kind of hide. Thank you very much for being here today, Nick, and I'm excited to have you here and listen to the talk. I'm going to go ahead and mute myself and let you take over.
Sure, Richard, and I'm excited too. Same here. Thank you so much for giving me the access. Hope everybody's able to hear me loud and clear and can also see my screen. I'm just going to go ahead and present across the topic for today, which is data-driven digital marketing. Thank you so much, Richard, for the lovely introduction. I'm obliged and honored. So my name is Nick. I'm just going to take a few minutes, rather a few seconds, to go ahead and just give you a rush through introduction from my side also. That's how I really look like. I'm a digital marketing enthusiast. I've been into this profession for 18 years, and I'm under the both side of the industry of digital marketing, which is the servicing side and also from the training end. So when I say servicing arena, it's I have got my own agency by the name of Your Creation. It's based out of Canada, Toronto. And in terms of certifications, if we talk about, I've made myself eligible for all the possible certifications in digital marketing industry. And like Richard did mention, I am Masters in Business Administration from University of Toronto, and I have a full-time role to take care of with my agency, Internet Marketing Agency, which is by the name of Your Creation Ltd, based out of Toronto, Canada. I'm also a speaker at various business schools and colleges based in Canada and India both, some of those being University of Toronto, same place from where I passed out, Humber College, Toronto, and IIM Bangalore, IIM Ahmedabad, and quite a few, many others. In case you want to know more about me in detail, you can just go to linkedin.com, type in across my name, you will find my profile pretty easily. I do provide training at several places, some of those being for GoDaddy, for Google, Microsoft, and several others. Now, talking about data-driven digital marketing, many people say that the data which we have got as a digital marketer. So I'm assuming everybody over here has got something or the other to do with digital marketing. Keeping that in mind, the very first slide, what I'm talking about over here is what data can really help. Why I've got this first thing as the first slide is just because that's that's the maximum number of people actually asked me for when they talk about data-driven digital marketing. Now, we as marketers, we as digital marketers, we know that there's a tremendous amount of data which we do get on a regular basis, on constant basis, and this data is the after effect, is the result of all the campaigns we run across. When I say the campaigns, it could be of any kind of a digital marketing campaign, whether it's an email marketing campaign or a Google search campaign or a display campaign run across on any sort of an ad network, or whether it's a own media campaign, which is where your website comes up onto the top in the organic listings, or people are talking about your brand, it's a word of mouth advertising on the social platforms. So if people are talking about your brand, you're getting shares, your content is getting viral, all you really get across is a huge amount of data. Now, we do talk about how this data is to be used across the data which we get across from the analytics, whether it's Google Analytics or any other analytics platform, whether it's KISS Matrix or Omniture. These are pretty renowned analytics platform. We get across a lot of data from the Pinterest analytics, from Facebook Insights, or if we talk about let's say Google Webmaster, which is very popularly known as Google Search Console now, where we get a lot of information from Google on how our website is performing and so forth. When we encapsulate all that data, we're not really sure how to really take decisions in the right way. That's what data-driven digital marketing is all about. When digital marketing started, I would say, 94 is the year when it already got started. It was at a very initial stage. There wasn't a lot of data which was involved. There wasn't a lot of number crunching which was to be done across. So as things moved further, there was a lot of internet users. The number of people who were using across internet, that really went up, and there was a rapid expansion on that. A lot of data got accumulated by marketers. They were really not sure on how to use that data for the best possible use. So if I have to really sum up how this entire piece of data, I'm not going to show you the entire data. I'm assuming that all of you are somewhere or the other linked to digital marketing. And in the analytics platform, in the analytics dashboard and all that, we do get a lot of data. How does that data really help? So if we talk about a well-oiled data-driven digital marketing operation, they'll help to identify the most valuable segments and the hotter leads for each. Now, if I talk about segments, we do have the ability to go ahead and dissect across the entire database into whatever segments I want. Giving you an example of a segment is like, let's suppose if I get 1,000 visitors in a day onto my website, how many of those are spending 2 minutes or more than that? I can just segment across my visitor database, not into a certain section, which will show me only that set of people, only that set of data, only that set of visitors precisely who have been onto my website for 2 minutes or more than that. That's up to me. How do I define that? Now, this segmentation are of various kinds. Some are default segments which are there into the analytics. Some are custom-made segments which we can create, not just on the basis of the time which people are spending onto our website. There could be furthermore segments which are possible, like things like how many people were browsing onto my website using a mobile phone, or how many people were browsing onto my website, let's say yesterday, or even right now on real-time basis using a specific tablet. That's all possible. Now, when we get all that data, we are able to identify and understand more about our audience and the kind of audience which have converted the most. This is also possible. This is also the data thing. The conversion data is also very essential to be looked at. The entire piece of data which is providing us information about all those people who have got converted, or all those uh, visitors who came onto our site and sort of left their details, filled up the form, or bought across the product, whatever we wanted them to do, that sort of entire piece needs to be looked into carefully and need to understand where have they come from, how much time did they spend, what place, what page did they visit the most, and so forth. So this is one example. We have to really see in terms of the hotter leads, what people have been doing, what have been the common things amongst those people who have bought product from our website or who have been really a good prospect for us. It also helps us, a perfect oiled data-driven digital marketing operation would help us to be very much relevant to our customers with personalized messages. Now, if I talk about this point number two, I would really like to bring across to everyone's notice that whatever emailer campaigns you get on day-to-day basis, they all are, most of them are personalized. How do these advertisers really get to know that this is what your taste and preferences are? Now that's an example of an email campaign. Even if I talk about a display banner ad, you must have observed that whatever third-party website, whatever piece of a website you go, the banner ads which you get to see over there, they're very much related to whatever interests you have, whatever websites you have been buying, you have been browsing across, or whatever things you really want to buy across. So that's so much personalized. Even they go ahead and talk about the messaging within the emailers and messages within the display, which gets run across with the help of the data, and also the cookie system, which is also called the retargeting and remarketing, which most of you are aware of. That's also an after effect. That's also one of the greatest form of campaigning advertising, which gets done only with the help of data. What is that data that really lets the retargeting and remarketing works? It's a cookie. Cookie is a small file which cannot be seen by a visitor to a website. And this cookie helps the advertiser to go ahead and showcase their advertisement to all those people who have been to their website before. And the reason of showcasing the banner ad only to that set of people who have been to your website before but haven't got really converted is just because they are known to your brand. They know that this brand exists, and they have seen that, they have seen they've seen your website, they've been to your website. You just want to convince them more. You just want to convince and also remind them, right? That's where retargeting really helps in, and that's one of the greatest form of data-driven digital marketing. Another great form of data-driven digital marketing is the programmatic buying. Now that's a piece of the display advertising purely. I'm going to sort of touch base a bit on the programmatic buying, programmatic advertising altogether, where every single impression on the publisher's website is getting sold across on the basis of what the demand of the advertiser is. It's not just a spray and pray thing which the traditional marketers really do. If we talk about the display advertising, which digital marketers have been doing so far, it was just all about spray and pray in the beginning, and then it went on to targeting furthermore with the help of psychographics and demographics. But with programmatic advertising, if we talk about, we're not just focusing on showcasing our banner ad to a bunch of people, but we are able to pinpoint every single audience the way we want to on the basis of what they have been seeing, what sort of websites they have been seeing lately, what kind of browsing history do they depict, their interest level, and so forth. So every single impression which is getting sold across, that's also an after effect. It's also an overall result of a data-driven digital marketing. So the data is getting used for the retargeting, for remarketing, for the programmatic advertising, and so forth. Also, the data helps in better performing campaigns at a lower cost. So there have been several studies, there have been several experiments, in live campaigns which have run across, which does show a campaign run across with a lot of calculation, a lot of, uh, carefully the data has been used across for that sort of a campaign where the data has been used, the cost has been considerably very low as compared to that sort of a campaign where there hasn't been any use of data or maybe a negligible use of data and so forth. So usage of data has always helped the advertisers in reaching out to the right set of audience at the right place in a much lower cost as versus the other form of digital marketing campaigns, also the traditional campaigns. So there's a comparison in the traditional form of digital marketing and the new form of digital marketing where data is being used across the most. Also, the data-driven digital marketing operation uh, helps us in analyzing the data to find more new opportunities where can we really go ahead and show across our product, our entire advertising message. So that's another thing. Also, the other benefit is that it helps in increasing the value of the customer database. So now this entire operation, if I talk about the data-driven digital marketing operation, that really works well when it's been linked to a great either a marketing automation tool and also customer relationship management tool, where every single customer's profile is being stored and what sort of activities every single customer has performed onto your website, what have been their past purchases, their past behavior, that all gets recorded, and on the basis of all that, which gets recorded into the customer database, and it gets gelled well with your campaign providers or your campaign uh, tools, you're able to not just personalize the messages, but you're also able to send them at the right spot in with the right sort of entire messaging being very fine tuned for every single set of audience. So we're going to talk more about the automation part and also the customer relationship management, how that really gets into this and makes the entire process more smoother and much more valuable. Another thing which data would really helps the marketers is to get marketing, sales, and the entire IT department of a single organization on the same page. That's what data really helps. Now, this is the biggest challenge which many agencies have been facing, that there's always a miscommunication or some sort of a gap in the understanding of these two, three different departments, the marketing, the sales, and the IT. In order to get them onto the same page, it's the numbers, it's the data, which really helps them to get them onto the same page and have a clear, unified understanding of what needs to be achieved, what is the overall uh, activities which would be performed across, and what could be the after effects expected out of those activities which would be performed. And the last one is to benefit, if we talk about how it would help data, is to introduce efficiency with automations, which I said, to scale without pain. So automation platforms like, so I've worked very much on to HubSpot, Marketo, automation platforms that helps in entire, getting the data-driven digital marketing campaigns work across perfectly. Right. So now if we talk about the automation part, which was the last pointer, marketing automation is absolutely enraged these days and for all good reasons. And here are some examples of what can be achieved with the right customer data driving it. So automated email campaigns is what the marketing automation platforms helps in order to push prospects through different stages of the purchase cycle, right from the top of the funnel where the prospect, is trying to know about various brands. He or she is in the awareness stage and then jumps on from the awareness stage to the uh, decision-making stage, the evaluation stage, and then to the purchase stage, and then from the purchase to the post-purchase, after sales, and so forth. Also, it offers, the offers and so forth are being triggered by specific user data or the actions. If somebody comes onto your website and performs across a specific action, then only an email is being triggered across. That's the beauty of the automation that really helps. And it gels well again with the data. So if somebody comes onto your website, I'm giving an example, buys across, let's say, a pair of red shoes, automatically, let's say the purchase has been done, automatically an email will get shooted across, maybe let's say after a day, whatever rule is being set across, and the email says, I'm sorry, the email says, you recently bought a pair of red shoes. How about buying across this pair of denims, which would go really well with these shoes? I mean, that's the beauty of automation. Also, if there are more stats, there are more data about that specific, about all the customers. I'm sorry about that. Just give me a second. Right. So this can be personalized more in terms of the information about the customers, whatever they have purchased, more to that specific, let's say, red shoes. I'm sorry about that. Now, the other benefit of automation, which brings in the data-driven digital marketing campaign to perform across to the best, is that it helps in lead scoring as well. The automation tools helps in segregating the leads, whether it's a level 1 or a level 2, or it's a more hot lead right now, or it's in the cold stage. I mean, it would take a lot of time. So the entire pipeline gets visible, and one can really anticipate and predict for future how many sales can they really expect in the upcoming months and so forth. Also, it helps in the retention in nurturing the existing customers by sending them much more valuable stuff, useful content, or useful offers and deals on a regular basis. Now, again, this is a part of the data-driven digital marketing. Whatever emails you get on a regular basis from various different websites, they do talk about loyalty bonus, the benefits of being part of their club, or the benefit of buying across from their store or from their outlet again and again. So in order to get much more higher lifetime value from every single customer, it's the role of automation, which along with the data, that really comes into place. Now, this has been explained diagrammatically in this particular slide, how the automation really works across. So you got at number one place, you got the customers. Now, customers do visit across our website through various different channels, whether it's through the social or any, let's say, any search ad, or maybe a display ad, or an email and so forth. The moment they come onto your website from various sources, they sign up to receive exclusive content. They have given across permission to you by putting across their name numbers. So there's always going to be a filtration process. Now, the system entirely tracks, right? So there's a lot of data which is, first of all, getting pulled, getting collected at the very first stage, that how people came onto your website, from what place, how did they reacted, and out of how many of the total people who came on your website, how many really jumped into and provided across their details and so forth, or maybe did the action which you were really looking for as a marketer. Now, this entire piece of information, again, at a step 2 and a step 3, gets captured across. Now, and that gets pulled across, that gets stored across in the automation platform as a step 4. So this rich data that is being captured across by the marketing automation platform, that's where the data-driven digital marketing is happening, right? This entire piece of data is being leveraged, and it is used across for increasing engagement, for sending personalized messages at a timely fashion. All alerts are being set up across in such a fashion that much more customers are there to give you more sales, more revenue, more profits, and also the existing customers to keep coming back and stay, be loyal with your brand and so forth. And all those who haven't really got converted, again, the automation tool makes it a point that many more campaigns are being set up across by the marketers with the help of automation tools to just target across the other set of audiences who haven't really been converted, but they might convert if you push furthermore, if you convince them furthermore. Now, that's in nutshell, guys, in totality, what the data-driven digital marketing is all about, where the CRM and also the automation part is working in together. The data is getting crunched, the data is getting used by the CRM platforms, by the automation platforms in together to get across the ultimate marketing objectives being met, right? Now, now this is more of a complex, you know, entire chart. Do not get scared by looking into this. I'm just going to be quick onto this one. The previous one was pretty simple to understand. If I talk about various different more people involved into this entire process, what happens is that whenever you got audience onto your website, right, they do many more things. So people who come onto your website, they do either they're searching for some content, they're sharing your website onto social media website, they're doing comparisons of products and so forth. All that sort of data point. So these are data points, different data points. They are multiple browsing behavior data points, right? They're being captured from various different sources. That all gets aggregated and it gets stored, this aggregate data gets stored into a platform that's called DMP, that's Data Management Platform. Now this is a sort of a server where the entire data is getting stored. This entire data gets analyzed, and on the basis of various different traits which are being already created in the data management platform, this data is being segregated into various different sections. So you've got different set of audiences pool, an audience pool, which is, let's say, a pool 1 and a pool 2 and a pool 3 and a pool 4. Now all those people who are in the pool 1, they have got something in common. So let's say there's a trait which is common amongst the pool 1. So you call it as a trait 1, trait 2, trait 3, trait 4. All of these people, whenever they visit across your website, they're just going ahead and downloading across cookies which were there on their website. They do not get to know that all these cookies, excuse me, they're being classified into various different segments, and on the basis of that, this becomes your property as your website. You do get information, certain set of information about your audience, not their names and email addresses, but their intent, their interest levels, what they were really looking for, and so forth. On the basis of this, there is another platform which is called demand side platforms, the DSPs. They're the ones who really do a lot of effort for the advertisers, and on the basis and they're connected with the ad servers. On the basis of the ad servers, there's a lot of real-time bidding which works across. When I say real-time bidding, so there is a bidding for every single impression which is there. Now this works primarily for the display campaigns. Now this is for the majorly display, for the video campaigns and so forth, campaigns on the mobile apps and so forth, the banner ads and so forth. Now the real-time bidding inventory is being used across to run campaigns against whatever sort of audience you're really looking at. Now that's the entire process. This is a bit more of complex. If you've got it, good. If you haven't really, you can read further more about it by just checking onto Google and so forth, what we really understand by DMP and the DSPs and the ad servers and ad exchange and so forth, and real-time bidding. I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what programmatic buying is, where the real-time bidding works across. Now, another piece of example which I would like to give for data-driven marketing, guys, except for the personalized messages through the remarketing and retargeting, there's another thing which works across only for the display. That's called lookalike modeling, where all these ad exchanges really provide this functionality. It's also there with Facebook. If you have been really quite active onto Facebook advertising, Facebook gives an opportunity to the advertisers to show their messages, their display advertising messages to a lookalike audience. When I say lookalike audience, what the ad servers, or let's say if I take example again of Facebook only, what Facebook would do, when you as an advertiser have run across a campaign and you have captured a lot of information, a lot of data in terms of who have shown some interest onto your product, who have really gone ahead and got converted. So the data of those people who have got converted, they're being analyzed by the Facebook system. And when we as advertiser try to create another campaign, and in the other campaign, we mention that this time we want to show our ad not to any set of audience with certain parameters, but we only want to show our ad only to those kind of people who are very similar to the kind of audience which have reacted to our advertisements previously. So, if I talk about the first campaign we have targeted a good bunch of people, and these two audiences are converting audience. They're the one with a red top and a blue top with blonde hair and black hair and so forth. So let's say, these are the traits. I mean, these are just physical traits. Don't go with that. If you talk, so over here, it's the online browsing behavior traits or any other traits which are being matched across things like, let's say, profession, things like age and so forth. I mean, quite many things are being looked at, and on the basis of the traits which were common in the converting audience, similar traits are being searched when the entire Facebook user base, and people who have got similar traits, right? Similar traits to the ones who have got to the traits of the one who got converted earlier, they're being pulled out, and the advertisers are very easily and effectively able to showcase across their display banner ad to this set of audiences whenever they're live on their Facebook profiles, whether it's a right-hand side ad or a newsfeed Facebook ad or a Facebook event ad and so forth. Uh, whatever sort of advertisement it's there on Facebook, whether it's a newsfeed or a right-hand side ad, only this set of audience is being shown across. Now, and that is another great part of data-driven digital marketing. And a lot of organizations, there are a lot of case studies also, which do showcase that lookalike modeling have been really working well in terms of achieving better, more conversions at a lesser price. So people who like the converting audience, only they're the ones who are being shown across, right? I hope it makes a lot of sense talking about the programmatic, talking about the automation, talking about the retargeting and remarketing. That's all part of data. Now, this is a list of all those attributes and traits which I was talking about. So the audiences are being segregated on the basis of any sort of stuff, whether they're microblogging users, social media users, financial enthusiasts, they're travelholic, they're shopaholic, they're technology savvy, are they value seekers, are these the negotiators, or people who have got all these different traits? They've been clubbed in together. The converting audiences traits are being pulled out, and on the basis of that, another set of audiences is being looked, and only those people are pulled, which I told you, who got the similar traits, right? So now I'm going to just give you a glimpse of what programmatic buying is, which is a part of the entire data-driven digital marketing is. Now, any sort of an advertisement which works in an automated fashion, let's say automating buying and selling of advertising, a display banner ad, that's programmatic. Now, it involves automating the trigger and displaying the creative, right? The ad banners or the other forms, according to what the user is looking for or asking for and so forth. If we talk about Google AdWords, to display ads for specific search phrases also, that's even programmatic ad. What are the various uses of programmatic? It helps in various different objectives to be met across. As a marketer, you can use it for brandings, purposes, for retargeting, lead generation. Now, all this is part of data-driven. And it does encompasses a variety of media. So display being the topmost one, like the rectangular ads, the leaderboard, or you got the square-shaped ones. You've got the footer, the ones on the footer, and so forth. The rich media ads and so forth. The primary ways to use programmatic is that you can develop a creative and bid for the spots to display them onto the websites, right? That's a real-time bidding, and this real-time bidding process is the only thing which helps the advertiser and publisher to meet their objectives in an appropriate fashion. Now, if I talk about the objective of an advertiser is always going to look for reaching out to the right set of prospective audience who would be very much likely to get converted at a lesser price, as less as it's possible. On the other side, if we talk about the publishers, they will always be looking for giving across a space on their website to a sort of a advertiser which matches very well to the content they have onto the website, which matches very well to the likes and interest of the audience which comes onto the website, and also pay them a good amount in terms of whatever they get for the per impression or the per click and so forth. Now, the both parties wants to achieve their respective objectives, and keeping that in mind, it's only the programmatic media which helps in meeting out this, and it's all of it's the entire database crunching which helps in getting that achieved. So, like I said, there can be two things. Either you create your own banner ad and then bid for the spots, or you can also develop rich media display instead of a static creative also. Now, I talked about the lookalike audience. That's what it is all about in this specific one. So you can have a newsfeed ad, you can have a right-hand side ad, you can target specific people based either on their characteristics with programmatic channels also, or you can create custom audience. Now, one of the custom audience is the lookalike audience, which I talked about. We can also, in programmatic, use across videos. So the data-driven digital marketing is not just restricted to the banner ads and so forth. It also goes towards the YouTube advertising, the video advertising, and so forth. Some of the YouTube advertising you must have seen are the pre-roll video ads. These are the video ads which are skippable after 5 seconds, and you always get to see them before the actual video gets played across. Now, how does it happen that if I am watching a specific video on a YouTube channel, on youtube.com, the video ad which comes across is very much matching to what I have been searching for in the past few days, or I am quite I'm interested in that kind of product. That's all data-driven digital marketing. A lot of data of my characteristics, me as an internet user, is getting pulled across by those websites whichever I visit across. These websites have the ability to go ahead and send across or store across certain cookies which goes from their website. Whenever I, as an internet user, visit their website, they're able to download these hidden files, which are called cookies, into my system, into my browser specifically. So these are browser specific, right? So videos are programmatic too, and within the context of the website also, which websites may visit, that's also possible with video and so forth. Now, here's an example of a video ad. Excuse me. A video ad for Microsoft is getting played across on Forbes.com. So here a specific user was targeted, a specific user. You're not just talking about that this particular Microsoft ad is going to be visible across to everybody who would be opening across Forbes.com. No. So this is very much specific to a certain user. The advertiser, Microsoft, has bid on this particular stuff that he wanted to reach out to a certain set of an audience. So when the real-time bidding would have got done, Microsoft would have bid the highest, then only Microsoft was able to showcase their video ad on Forbes.com to a certain set of audience which they wanted to. Programmatic is also there in the mobile and apps. So ads can be automated to shown on specific devices such as the mobile, desktop, laptop. And on an average, if you talk about mobile videos, have got 18% click-through rate, which is higher than laptops and desktops. So mobile is much, much more preferable. These mobile video ads are higher revenue generators, as consumers, they do watch most of the video content on their mobile devices. I believe you would not, nobody could argue on that. It's the mobile devices which are being used the most for browsing internet as compared to the other devices. So its revenue is estimated for the mobile, if you talk about, to grow 3 times faster than the desktop, and this channel also costs more to bid, right? So these are just good to know information, and you can buy ad space on mobile apps as ad inventory on apps provide additional routes of monetizing for app developers. Now, I'm going to talk about certain steps for developing a data-driven digital marketing strategy for an organization, for your organization, for any sort of an organization. So number one is to implement across, first of all, an organization-wide data strategy. So there needs to be a data strategy. In order to be truly data-driven, data has to be shared between various different business units, which I talked about, like with the sales team, with the marketing, with the IT, so that all of them are on the same page. And in order to be successful, data needs to be managed on a regular basis, consistently across all the divisions we are talking about. For this specific reason, businesses do need to ensure that there is a specific strategic approach to data that is being adopted on an organization level. And number two is to go ahead and restructure the organization. When I say restructure, for data-driven marketing to become a reality, to different business units, the different divisions into your business and departments, they must be able to collaborate and share the data. It's not just seeing of the data which is being allowed, it's also to go ahead and collaborate, also share more data. In particular, silos must be broken down between IT and the marketing. The data should be broken down. And IT is a vital partner for marketing department. They do play a crucial role in connecting the various different touch points throughout the business and also supporting the data collection and overall the integration process. So survey findings, they do indicate that over 3/4 of marketers, they do view the development of a strategic partnership with IT team as a priority. And then third, it's to have a cross-functional team to support the collaboration amongst the various teams, and to also and the breaking down of the silos. Organizations should focus. If you are working for your organization for the data-driven digital marketing campaigns, you need to ensure there is a cross-functional team, including marketers and the IT, right? So that's another one, and it's all about integrating the data. So marketers, they do need to create a single, complete, actionable, flexible view of their customers, their prospects. However, most of the enterprises, they do have invested in numerous marketing technology. I mean, we all know that, and that they do specialize into different disciplines and so forth. So address these enterprises will need to integrate customer data from disparate systems and so forth. Right, so it's all about integrating the data and also then leveraging the analytics. So we all do get across a lot of data and through the analytics. So with the data integrated and augmented, businesses, they do need to utilize analytics to deliver actionable insights and guide the decision makers. It's just not for the marketers that can benefit from the rigorous exercise. It's also various different departments ranging from the sales to the marketing to the IT, customer service to the finance also for purchasing, and also get much better profits and so forth. Now I've got a infographic being shown over here that also talks about the same stuff. It's the same thing which I have shown you before, that various different digital marketing channels helps in getting us a lot of traffic where the data comes in, and that data is used across for various purposes also, maybe for market research, for customer service department, for branding department, for branding purposes, or for targeting customers and so forth. Right, so we all know that we do get across a lot of data from Google Analytics, Webmaster, like I talked about in the beginning, Facebook Insights, Pinterest Analytics, also from AdWords and so forth. So we can always go ahead and, this is a so much time-consuming job. Most of the organization have got full-time people working precisely onto the data part and doing the crunching and taking out, as much good information as they can. Now, in the end, I'm just going to be quick into this. There are 5 steps for data-driven digital marketing. Number one is to go ahead and, as a marketer, go ahead and form across your goals. As we all know, it's the SMART goals, right? The specific, measurable, actionable, result-oriented, and so forth. So when you have the SMART goals, which is the very first step, it helps you in creating a data-driven digital marketing campaign in a most appropriate manner. So you need to really take a step back, and develop across sound goals and objectives for your strategy, right? So your goals are not just going to be for the sales purpose, not the macro. You need to have the micro goals too. Micro goals could be like maybe a newsletter subscribers. You want more, let's say, Facebook likes. You want more social shares. Could be anything. Then the other thing is to go ahead and decide across on the key performance indicators through which you're going to assess your goals. You're going to understand how well you're doing and measure across your results as a marketer. So for instance, a KPI for amplification might be the cumulative number of shares for a particular piece of content across different platforms and so forth. Right? So you must also identify sources of data necessary to understand your social media success. Where do the KPI numbers exist? Is the KPI in a single place, or do I need to capture more matrices for several sources to approximate my KPI and so forth? Number three, after KPI is to go ahead and collect and display the data. Now that you've got the goals, you've got the matrices related to your KPIs, this means that you're using a third-party tool, whether it's a Google Analytics or an Omniture or Sprout Social and so forth. With some more tweaking, you might also use the different APIs also, which Google Analytics do, provide across. Whatever tool you use, you should allow yourself as a marketer to drill down onto any metric to get more specific view of the performance. For instance, you want to understand not only where the visitors really came from, but which platform generated the most conversion, right? We spoke about that and so forth. And number four in the 4 or 5 step process is to go ahead and develop the insights. And developing insight is the hardest part of the entire managing of data in a data-driven digital marketing campaign. This is where the analysis become a science and an art both. And you can use across certain tools for that. You can identify various matrices, whether it's, let's say, how much word of mouth have been happening, whether it's increasing and so forth, looking for correlations between different matrices and so forth. All right, so that's what I had in terms of the entire data-driven digital marketing. And Richard's going to talk about the DMCA course we have and so forth. I'm just going to hand it over to Richard.
Excellent. Thank you, Nick. Again, thank you for being here today and taking your time out to join us. Greatly appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and take over the screen just for a moment here because we always have a poll while we start our question and answer session. And then I have some great questions coming in here. Give me just a moment. There we go. Hit a wrong button. All right. Just for my own question, as a part of the startup community, an entrepreneur society in my area, I work with companies, community, and much more. To our younger crowd who are just coming into the industry, we actually have a whole group of people who are coming right out of high school or they just started college in the area. What kind of certification and training advice can you offer to them as a career choice so that they're started in the right direction and they can get going into the digital data marketing?
I would say the basic foundation, the DMCA absolutely works the best. I mean, that gives you an overall overview of what digital marketing is and what are the different channels and how do you really get started. When you talk about getting started with digital marketing, yes, the DMCA course which we have, that provides a complete understanding of what digital marketing is. How do you really start thinking like a digital marketer, whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you are out of college and so forth. So yeah, and the certifications we do provide along with the course that is the Google AdWords, Google Analytics, OMCA certifications. These are the initial and the most relevant one, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. And does anybody else out there, if you do have questions specific to your business or your career or what you're working on or concerning the slides we went through, the great time to go ahead and ask those questions while we have an expert here. 18 plus years of experience. That's a lot of expertise that you can tap into right now for free. Um, on this, there is also, I'm going to guess that the answer is kind of the same, that if you are in a business and you're going and you're trying to figure out who to hire and who to work with, and you need to know like a basic understanding so that when you talk to people, um, it helps you pick out the right people and ask the right questions. Would it be kind of the same path, getting that basic DMC certification and getting it started up there so you know what's going on?
Yes, the answer is going to be the same. So
It's going to be the same.
whether whether you want to do it yourself or you want to get it done from someone, and you want to go ahead and just judge them and know whether they're taking the right path, they're performing well or not. So the journey needs to start from the DMC. Yeah.
Okay, and then you said after the DMC, the next step would be like Google AdWords and analytics. What other steps would come after that? So you've gone through and you have a basic understanding of the um, data-driven market, and now you're looking at, well, where do I go next? I go look at Google AdWords and analytics. What other tools are out there that would come next?
So there are quite many tools where, like, you got the keyword planner tool, you got a lot of tools for working onto your SEO campaigns. So Google in itself, uh, they do provide a hell lot of tools. So analytics is one of those. Google Keyword Planner is another one. Google AdWords is another platform, which is a sort of a tool only, I would say, an online tool, which needs to be mastered. And that goes hand in hand. Once you've got the understanding, the basic understanding, it's all about mastering it perfectly, and that happens when you work by yourself onto the tool, explore it, spend more time with the tool, try to see, what part is new for you, and when you're exploring it, you're just mastering it. I mean, why I say you're mastering it, because there's a lot of things which you will understand yourself once you're done with the beginner's thing. You will have that, you will start thinking in that direction, that every sort of a new button also, let's say you come across with, you'll have assumptions around those. And once you will go ahead and play around with those buttons, coupled with your assumptions, you will see whether your assumption was right or not. How that particular functionality is going to work for you. But if you want to really go ahead and shorten up your path, after your beginner's course, you do not want to go ahead and keep exploring by yourself, and that would be a bit of a lengthy part. You can always go for our master's. You can go for the master's course and shorten up your entire path furthermore and learn much more in a lesser time. So that's something is what I would recommend, and that those master course will help you to get those certifications.
Excellent. And on your own experience, what was like one of the best uh, um, projects you worked on where everything just came together, and why do you think it came together? Where you saw a company really excel, or an individual or a business where you're able to use the data analytics and help them build a company or build a business or build a section of what they're working on?
It was I could recall it was for an airline brand here. I don't want to name them, so just because of some agreements and all that. So what we did with the airline brand, we did a lot of data crunching from the market research point of view. So when I say market research, we did use quite many tools to do a social media listing. We understood what people are talking about the airline, that specific airline, whether it's the good, bad, ugly, neutral comments. It was not a manual process of going ahead and extracting these comments on various social media websites and various Web 2.0 or blogging sites and forums and so forth. So several tools were being used to extract those extract that data. Then tools were being also used to segregate that and put that piece of information into the customer relationship management tool. And then the email campaigns and so forth were being pushed across to different segments of these people who were being commenting about their experience, what they think about the brand. If a certain section of people who've been really happy, we used to congratulate them for being part of our brand and give them across furthermore promotional offers. A segment of people who have been commenting and who have been just neutral. I mean, it's all about going ahead and pushing them furthermore with certain other motivations they will have, whether it's again with giving them price offers or some extra freebies, some tasteners. I mean, letting them know that if they go ahead and sign up with our such and such club, they can get across, maybe this much price benefit and so forth. And the other hand, you've got another set of audience who've been really vocal about not so great experience they had. And this was the audience which we really had to control so that the viral effect doesn't happen. The negativity doesn't really gets pushed across. So the objective was to tackle that set of audience in a lesser fraction of a time. Maybe if somebody has put in across a negative comment or tweeted about just, let's say, a minute back, it's the responsibility of the entire team to pull out all those on real-time basis, use that data, connect with that audience, and so forth. So that was one case study if I talk about. Yeah.
Excellent. I always love the stories because sometimes we get all the information and then we forget that there's all these steps that are unique to whatever niche we're looking at and working with.
Yeah.
We have just a couple more minutes. I'm always surprised because usually we have this big of a crowd. A lot of people have personal questions that come in. So yeah, if you have a question, great time to ask it. I'm going to go ahead and close the poll here in just about a minute. And what was just kind of going on with the same theme of personal stories, what was the biggest challenge you ever faced with digital marketing and working with a company? Where it just really kind of hit a wall kind of thing, and how did you deal with that?
The biggest challenges have been when clients are not able to communicate what they're really looking for. So with my agency, when we do get across an invitation from certain brands saying that we are inviting digital marketing agencies to pitch in, we, in the very first step, go ahead and ask them, what are you really looking at? So they go over the place. So when you ask them for the requirement, they say everything. They say every damn thing. We just go ahead and let them know that you've got to be very specific in terms of what you want to achieve. They say we need branding also. They say we need more repeated sales. They say we need more customers, new customers. So we tell them that they've got to be campaigns focused on different segments altogether. But clients do not tend to understand all that. I'm talking about just one of a kind of a client who wants every different objective of various different kinds to be met with one single campaign, and that's absolutely not possible. So we have to again try to convince them, let them know about different competitors of theirs who have done different sort of campaigns, and every campaign had a specific objective. So we have to really educate our client. So the challenge is more with educating the client, I would say. Excuse me.
Yeah, that sounds like a PMP course. Communication, communication, communication. I've certainly heard that many times and seen that in my own experience, that is so huge in working in any small business or large business. We are at the end of the hour. Again, thank you very much for being here. I greatly enjoyed the talk, and myself learned a lot, and I hope everybody else enjoyed it. We're going to go ahead and close the session. If you have any last comments before we go ahead and close up, then I'm going to go ahead.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, from your end. Yeah, sorry. I guess I didn't get. Talking about communication, I forgot to be more clear on that. Do you have anything left, Nick, that you want to add before we close the session?
I'm good, and I believe everybody had a great time and got value out of the webinar. That's all from my end. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, thank you everybody for attending. We greatly appreciate for having you here and look forward to seeing you in our classrooms at simplylearn.com. You can also go to the forums. If you go to simplylearn.com and click on community, we do have an open forum where you can ask more questions. And of course, we have, if you actually join to take one of our courses, then we have additional forums and personal consultation. Again, thank you for being here. We look forward to seeing you in our classrooms. Everybody take care and have a wonderful day.